let's talk about Maximum Joy. Their first EP they released for 9/9. This is a British group. And this is the Stretch EP. It's Stretch and Silent Street. It's 2 long tracks. Janine Rainforth, vocals and clarinet. There's lots of sax on this. Tony Rafter doing sax. And then we have just sort of, this is sort of like a Essential Logic or Gang of Four again, but with a dub feel to it. And they have an album that, I don't know why it didn't come out on 9/9. It came out only in the UK. Station MXJY, Station Maximum Joy. This was on the Lot Y label. Only came out in the UK. This is from 1982. I believe the EP here is, the year's not printed. But this is great. Long, funky, erratic. She screams and hollers on this. The only thing that would come out, there's a pink and sort of purple label. This is Stretch Disco Mix and Rap and Silent Street Silent Dub. So there's dubs on this, but the Stretch is the song. Really great, really infectious. And this, I do have the cool, I love these inserts, label insert. And the record, Maximum Joy, is really great. Really great. I love this band. They did have more that would come out, I think EPs. That's Station Maximum Joy is the only actual album. Alright, so now let's get into some of the reggae and dub related stuff on the 9/9 label. Bahlman was very much into that stuff. He was going to see, I think, a lot of reggae would come through New York, and he would go to see those shows. I think it was Black Uhuru. He went to see like the first New York show of theirs. I think it was, and he met Vivian Goldman. Vivian Goldman, English sort of. She would end up doing stuff with the Lizard group, Flying Lizards, the UK pop sort of throwback group. She was involved in that group in some respect, and she ended up becoming more of a journalist and a writer and sort of a almost like a godmother of punk. I'm reading her book right now, Vivian Goldman, Revenge of the She-Punks, and she would be a journalist as well. But there's a great compilation of her stuff, Resolutionary Songs, I think it is, that came out that compiles basically all of her work. But this EP, here she is, called The Dirty Washing at the Laundrette. And I believe this is with Congo Ashante Roy in the cover. Someone's going to have to correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe Doug, if you're watching. I think that's Congo Ashante Roy, who has a record coming. But this is the first 9/9 record I bought. And it hooked me. It's like nothing else. It's, again, minimal dubby groove. And she's sort of rapping over it. Listen to who's on this. I mean, Vivian Goldman's vocals. Okay, you have Keith Levine of Public Image Limited on bass. Guitar is Keith Levine. And bass, he's credited. Anyway, violin, Vicky Aspinall of the Raincoats. Percussion, Robert Wyatt got involved in this. Pretty cool. Toy piano, Steve Beresford, who also played bass. And the producer, Adrian Sherwood. Adrian Sherwood figures heavily also. He was a good friend of Ed Bahlman, and he was involved in this. And what a cool rundown of people involved. She ended up taking one of these tracks and giving it to the New Age Steppers, the first New Age Steppers record. Private Armies is on that record. It's also featured here. Vivian Goldman, Dirty Washing. This is 1981. There's another label insert. So when I first got this came into the local shop, Angry Mom, shout out. And I was like intrigued right away. We had a really interesting punk collection come in, and I snagged this one, as well as some other things. Gold 9/9. The Gold 9/9. I love this record. The dirty Laundrette is a great song, and then the dubs on it, the other side, are really cool too.
I wanted 10 pence for the dryer, yeah.
So we should talk about Congo Ashanti Roy. This 12-inch came out. This is straight reggae. The 12-inch 99 sort of sleeve. This is recorded at Harry J Studio in Kingston. Dubbing and mixing at Aquarius Studio. Mix engineer Boris Gardner. Released on the 99 label. How cool. What a cool 12-inch sleeve. I wish there would have been more 12 inches like this on the 99 label. Not that many records. But Cedric Minton, Congo Ashanti Roy, lead vocal. Boris Gardner on bass. Willie Lindo guitar. Pablo Block piano. And yeah, Congo Ashanti Roy. This is just 2 tracks. At the Feast and Music Maker. 45 RPM, like most of the releases on 99. So Bahlman was a cool. He was a tastemaker, and not an easy character to work with, but he knew what he wanted. He sort of following his own vision. Punk, dub, disco, funk. Here's another straight reggae record. This was a On You Sound record released in the UK. Here, Bahlman had the rights to it and put it out on 99. This is Singers and Players War of the Worlds, the first record. There's, I think, 3 Singers and Players records. This features some legendary people. I mean, Bim Sherman is the main vocalist, as well as, where am I? Oh, Prince Farai, of course. Prince Farai and Bim Sherman are the main vocalists on this. But again, look who you have on this. You have Crucial Tony, who was the guitarist, who would be all over, I think, Dub Syndicate, and was he involved in Creation Rebel. Crucial Tony. He played that on here. He played Keith Levine is again involved from PIL on bass. Anthony Styles Scott. Ari Up. Keyboards, Ari Stepper, she's involved. Dr. Pablo, percussion, Ranking Magoo, and Creation Rebel. Vocals, Bim Sherman, Prince Farai, Jawoosh. And produced by Adrian Sherwood, I believe. I thought he was credited. He was credited somewhere that I read. John Lydon was credited with somewhere in this as a producer. But this is an Adrian Sherwood production, but released here in the States on the 99 label. Excellent dubby, sort of a funky vibe to it. Adrian Sherwood, very much cutting edge producer, and this is one of his earlier records. Beautiful, amazing stuff. And the other records would come out only in the UK on the On You Sound label. So this is the one and only Singers and Players record on the 99 label.
Why did you have to break his heart? Why did you have to do it all apart? Why did you have to break his heart? Why did you have to do it all apart?
Iconic label, super influential, and we have to talk last but not least about the most, maybe not the most important, but the record that would, and the band that would give them the most hype and notoriety, and actually put the label out of business, unfortunately. If you know anything about this label, you probably know who I'm talking about already, and is Liquid Liquid. 4 different EPs on the 99 label. Again, heavily bootleg because of these being very much favored by DJs. This is the first one. This is the first EP. It's a quartet, and Liquid Liquid was doing electronic funk, essentially, but with a very much postmodern sort of attack. Very much because of the percussion they were using. Very percussive. Marimba, bells. Here they are. Drums, percussion, Scott Howley, Richard McGuire, a key member of the group. Bass, percussion, and melodica, guitar. Salvatore Principato, the vocalist, and he was doing percussion. They're all doing percussion. Dennis Young, marimba, rototoms, percussion. This is their first EP, and of course Ed Bahlman is, let's see, who's the producer on this? Produced by Liquid Liquid, Bruce Tovsky, and Ed Bahlman. First EP on 9-9, Liquid Liquid. Scraper, I think it is. I'm forgetting off the top of my head. Or is it self-titled? Black 99. Bands, basically, they were getting played in discos and clubs, and they were blown away by it. They were like, I thought we were doing like punk music, is the insert again. But it was groovy and interesting. It fit right in with what was happening on the Lower East Side in Manhattan and the dance clubs. No one liked Liquid Liquid. I mean, basically, I can't imagine LCD sound system really happening without Liquid Liquid. I mean, that's really what they were doing. So that's the first EP. The second EP, Successive Reflexes. This one's awesome, maybe my favorite one. This is Lock Groove In and Out, Push, Zero Leg, Eye Sharp. The same quartet here. Elliot Sharp, a Lower East Side sort of mainstay in the avant-garde scene, plays on this. He plays bass clarinet. This is from 1981, October. Again, Ed Bahlman producing. Mastered by Ivan Weinberg. A lot of their stuff was done by Masterdisc, by the way. And another great EP. I love all the different colors. Here we get a blue and yellow 9-9. Amazing stuff. So Liquid, yeah, they would ended up being the group that would have the biggest hit, and it's on this next record. And this one I found, you'll see, I found this for a few bucks. I had to seal it in a resealable sleeve. It's not in great shape, but this is Optimo, and this features the infamous Cavern. Optimo, Cavern, Scraper, and Out.
Reaction. The more I see, the more I do. Something like a phenomenon. Baby, telling nobody to come along, but white lies.
But anyway, this is the third EP. Not the best image. It's kind of cool. I like the other art better. But Cavern would become another hit in the dance clubs, but it's most notably sampled for White Lines, Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel on Sugar Hill Records. Now, they didn't sample it, okay? They redid it. They just basically copied it, and they changed the line to something like a phenomenon. Yeah, so they changed the line to something like a phenomenon, I believe it was. Forgetting let's put it in here. I'm going to put it in a video, but so they copied the music, didn't give credit or anything to Liquid Liquid. They didn't sample it. They redid it. Did the same bass line. They copped the whole thing. I mean, it's not even like a surprise. These are the early days of like, who says we can't do this? Sampling wasn't really a thing. Hip hop was new, so Grandmaster Flash, Melly Mel took it. They I don't know that Liquid Liquid really. I'm sure they felt like somewhat upset by it, but Ed Bahlman was pissed. He obviously felt copyright infringement. And he sued. So this begins a long story of Sugar Hill Records and 9-9. They ended up spending, Ed Bahlman and 9-9, over $600,000. Well, that's not true. Hold on. So they ended up going to court, and it got drawn out, and they sued Sugar Hill. And apparently Sugar Hill was like mafia influenced or mafia run. And the story goes is there's some disputing factors that the 99 shop, which is of course still running. The label's happening, but the shop is still going. Like mob people showing up and breaking windows and intimidating customers and really screwing with the 99 people. And, trying to intimidate them to drop the lawsuit. Ed Bahlman was not even working there. He was like basically staying at his parents' house to avoid all the heat. But they eventually won a lawsuit, and they won $660,000 from Sugar Hill. It was decided that they indeed copied Grandmaster Flash, Melly Mel, the producers copied Liquid Liquid. Sugar Hill goes bankrupt, and 99 gets nothing. And it completely fucked the label. Gone. They had nothing. They were really counting on that. Liquid Liquid, would go on to notoriety based on just that song, Cavern, but they had nothing. They got completely screwed by Sugar Hill, and they did release one other EP in 1985. This is called Dig We Must, and this is definitely not essential, but for completists only. The bass player left, and I guess that really created a rift or a creative lack of creativity, I suppose. So this is not great, but interesting and worth checking out. 1985, Dig We Must, the last release on 9-9, produced by Ed Bahlman. Also with Flex Tone and a remix. So another cool thing about, a little interesting side note with 9-9 is they distributed a couple of records, and they distributed the very first Def Jam release, which was by Rick Rubin's band Hose, who did a 12-inch EP, and they were credited to Def Jam Records. I forget the number, 001 or whatever it is. But they were distributed by 9-9. I'm guessing he just helped them get it into stores throughout the country, probably sold it at the 9-9 record shop. But that is the start of Rick Rubin and Def Jam Records through 9-9 and this label, and Ed Bahlman. Also, there's a really rare record by Heart Attack that's not a 9-9 release, but I forget is it Damaged Goods and one other label were associated with the first two. Heart Attack, that's like hardcore, and Hose, Rick Rubin's band, was like noise punk, but Heart Attack, their first EP distributed by 9-9 is incredibly rare. It's like a 4-figure punk record, and then they have another EP that's also very rare. Again, not 9-9 proper releases, but helped out and distributed by, he's credited as producer, I think. So those come up like in Discogs. If you search the 9-9 discography, you'll see those come up, but they are not actual 9-9 records. Ed Bahlman disappeared, so frustrated from me, what happened, that so frustrated what happened with Liquid Liquid and this record. He basically disappeared. For years, none of the bands could reissue their work because he owned the masters, and he just went into, I think he went into environmental issues or nothing to do with music. He got completely out of the music business and doesn't do interviews at all, wouldn't cooperate for any requests for interviews. So that's why this label is sort of maybe forgotten or somewhat unknown, although, what they've done and who was involved and some of the legendary music that was produced, it deserves a real proper reissue campaign, perhaps something. Superior Viaduct has reissued all the Liquid Liquid records, the Glenn Branca records, maybe a couple other in there, I forget. Well, most of the stuff has gotten some kind of reissue, but I wonder where it's coming from, if Ed Bahlman was even cooperated or even was involved. I'm not sure. He must have been, if he owned the masters, but there's like nothing out there. This guy totally retreated and kind of screwed over these bands. So, that is kind of it. The 9-9 label, one of my favorite punk labels, one of my favorite labels, some of my favorite music, incredible diversity, sort of what I strive to be in my life, diverse with thoughts and music and thinking, and why not? It's the way to be, right? What a great label. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope if you have any of these records, or I'd love to see if anyone wants to throw in some threads on these, on their 9-9 releases that you might have. Go for it. Love to hear your feedback and thoughts and comments. I haven't seen many people show them. Alex, I saw show an ESG record, but I'm sure people have. I just haven't seen it. It's not totally obscure. I mean, if Rick Rubin is coming from this, and Grandmaster Flash samples or rips off a track, it's not obscure. Sonic Youth has involved, was sort of involved. So obviously, this is a label that people should know. And I will go ahead and link below to the Mixcloud about 10-minute interview, only thing I could find, and the Vinyl Factory piece that ran in 2015 through, I guess it was through, it was Vinyl Factory. That's an article that gives you samples, and it's not very long because, again, not a ton of history, but it goes into more depth on each of the bands and artists and the releases. So, just looking at my notes, I made notes for this. 99 McDougal Street, the 99 store. I wish I could have gone there. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts and your feedback, and check out these records. Amazing stuff. Take care, VC.